Symbology is the table in which we work to communicate with the invisible, divine, immortal beings. And these beings have many names. Each name gives you downloads, information, and upgrades within a technology that we do not understand. Many of the explanations that I gave in the live on TikTok about Divine Light 333's reading were from my personal database within my mind. I could look at these symbols and try to find the meaning in the written word or Google. But the way it works now is your higher self will begin to explain things to you with communications and with things that just happen in our world. So for instance, if we look at the Egyptian person at the 7 o'clock position, there's two people who are deceased and a resurrection seems to be occurring. Living waters pouring in someone's mouth at the 4 o'clock position. But what's so significant about this piece is the fist. Now, in the written word, the fist represents Mars, fire, which is true. But notice that the thumb is covering two faces on the fist, and then two faces are not covered. Under the faces that are not covered, it says Ra. And I would never understand what it means, not ever, if Spirit didn't tell me. That it reflects that the inner core of the earth has reversed. This reversal of the inner core may have a technology that does things invisibly, like maybe it's a time machine, maybe it's a portal. Whatever it is the birthing of Horus, which is Christ, and the return of Christ. We will have the ability to see with the eye of Horus, the eye of Christ, the eye of the Holy Spirit. And this eye has many abilities, like the ability to see behind someone else's eyes, or to see behind the eyes of a master, or to see worlds within this physical timeline that we didn't even or couldn't even imagine existed. There's information that was brought to me about hybrids, about how immortal ones with very white skin and very long hair have technology that we don't understand. And Osiris had green skin, and this green skin represents the land of Oz that goes to Iris, Emerald City, and Anti-M, which is the letter M at the top, which is above a star. And so this table that someone is seated in the center below the heart there is a rabbit, but it's also the belly of a whale. This is spirit trying to activate flesh to say, hey, don't think that Christ has only one name. Horus is also Christ. Isis is Mother Mary. And these stories have repeated with different names in different cultures. And it's really fantastic to be able to hear from the invisible world about how the activation of Christ actually occurs, and it seems to be a technology that is connected to nature and the earth. It's as if there's stone energy, crystal energy, and something about the reversal of the inner core of the earth, which is occurring right now. The angel above the deceased-looking witch seems to be that ding dong, the wicked witch is dead, and if the witch represents a program within the matrix that really kept us from observing other parallel realities, then that which has been deleted and a new information, new code is being activated. The beings that are coming forward to talk to Divine Light and to you, they live for 800 or 900 years, and they know how to be immortal. They use a high-tech cloning system, and it gets complicated from there. I honestly don't know all the answers. But all I know is now is the time for our Halo technology, which is kind of like the Matrix, where Neo received downloads, and he was able to speak another language instantly. He was able to fly a helicopter and be able to know how to do things. Because if you have the ability to bounce in someone's body, And let's say you want to understand a power that they possess. Well, you would just go and be them for a minute and collect their information, their magnetism, and then you would go back to being yourself. And we share consciousness, we share power, we share technology. And this is we are only just barely one little drop of it has actually entered into our consciousness, where you guys are starting to see so many people awaken and becoming oracles. And Isis is here to activate the oracular consciousness to step into oracle abilities. Inside the heart, which the heart makes the number 13, are three beings, and this is the Trinity. You can call it Hecate. Hecate is the goddess of three faces and is the cat. So if we left the dog, the curse of Cain, the canine, we have entered into the cat. And the cat is the cat's eye, and the cat's eye is the ability to see the unseen worlds and relay that message to the sleepwalkers, because we are now being activated as a skywalker. The repetitive pattern is that in this piece are three individuals who have eyes made of light. And one eye is in the physical, the other is in the spirit. Of course, we have to have one eye in the physical and one eye in the spirit. We have to be both male and female, because anytime we are not in the center, the eye of the needle, we are out of balance. And when you're out of balance, you are polarized. And when you're polarized, you are sent to duality. When you're sent to duality, you don't have a trinity. If you don't have a trinity, you don't live forever. Why? Because protons and neutrons die. Duality. Electrons live forever. It is the sun that descends upon the moon and the earth. When we are learning to work at the quote-unquote table, it is called the glyph of the round table, and it can be worked in several ways with various intentions. When you are in need of nurturing or vitality or energy, you place a small silver chalice before you on this table, and this table serves as the table of refreshment. So your entire piece is about tables. The boy seated with a book is saying, we are leaving the written word. And the face of the boy is a table, and he's drinking waters. This is the table of refreshment. And there are three men there reflecting that only those who have three rings of power can partake in the table of refreshment, which revitalizes our energetic body. So the reason the Egyptian is down there is because it's saying all of our religions originate from Egypt. And this includes Christ, which is Horus, and this connects us to Isis and Osiris. In the book, The Tower of Alchemy, on page 66, there are aspects to the table. There is the table of hosts. There's a table of fairy, the fairy table. There's the table of the starry table, and the table of the great shalom. These tables are gods. They're places, and they give you downloads on your table, and the table is your mind, and it is your heart, and it's many things. And I think that they're asking us all to create a physical table in our physical reality, and there's things that you can place on the table to speak to your higher self, and it's a sacred table. When we are speaking of the number 3, in your work of transformation, there are 3 great channels within your subtle body that are of paramount importance. The one that is being activated here is called Shushuma, and it corresponds to your spinal column. Along this central axis of your spinal column are 7 interior stars, inner metals or chakras. Weaving around the column of Shamshumna, they are mirroring one another, and they are twin currents of Ida and Pingala. This is depicted in Western illustrations as the caduceus of Hermes or Mercury. It's called the serpent entwined staff, carried by the messenger of the gods. Ida and Pingala are, respectively, the microcosmic active and passive currents, so lunar and solar, sun and moon, of the one force flowing through the human being. They weave about the central column in a helix similar to the DNA helix, And they are the pre-material prototype. It is a spiral of flame, which is fire, and a spiral of ice, which is water, that come together. We talk about this a lot. The baptism of water, the baptism of fire makes steam, and all of a sudden steam rises like a balloon. Well, I was looking at Divine Light's art, and it looks like she's holding a balloon. This takes us to the god of the sun, which is Helios. When we talk about Helios, we're going to go back to the Wizard of Oz. The land of Oz that goes to the land of Iris is Osiris. The Wizard of Oz actually has green skin, Emerald City, the color emerald. Osiris has green skin. And Osiris, the Wizard of Oz had a name called, he had 7 names. These 7 names are connected to what's happening internally within our body. And the 7 names of the Wizard of Oz were also Zoroast. So Zoroastrianism is going to go right along with this technology that we've tried to explain in the written word, but we're trying to re-look at it and look at it from the perspective and the explanation of the new oracles that have been birthed within this golden age. So the explanation is when the Wizard of Oz went up in a helium balloon, reflecting that he was a false god, Helios, not necessarily false, but a technology that was temporary, meaning that this wizard only served a purpose to get us to Emerald City. That's all. To kill the wicked witch, which we see in Divine Light's piece, and to make it to Emerald City. The letter M, the number 13, which is the heart. Anti-M, Emerald City. So when the wizard went up into a hot air balloon, then it was time for Dorothy to fly like a pretty little bluebird over the 7 colors of the rainbow, reflecting that she had activated her Kundalini fire so that she can fly without the need of false technology, which would have been helium. No, now your mind can fly and you don't need that helium balloon. And so what this is saying is that we lived in a matrix that was a technology that was temporary. And this temporary technology demanded that we overcame the scarecrow on the cross, taking on the sins of the wicked witch in the world, that we activated through an anointing oil, the 10 man, which represents the element of 10, and the inability to move out of this current reality or timeline. The steam that comes from the 10 man reflecting water and fire, killing the wicked witch reflecting killing any and all demons within our flesh, the Gentile, perhaps archons or some other technology that was hindering our expansion and our inheritance. And then the lion, we get stuck in polarity when we constantly look at this current world, shame it and blame it, put them up, I'll fight you with both hands behind my back. And then finally going to Emerald City and receiving the cleansing, scrub here, scrub there, of all that no longer serves us. So when Dorothy saw that the broomstick was on fire and she used water to put it out, this water and fire and steam saves us. And then Glenda represents the Corona Borealis, which is 7 stars connected to the Kundalini awakening. And there's many other secrets connected to the Wizard of Oz. You will be told by many a fellow around that it's about the money system, that it's about mind control, many other things. When you're in the lower world, the explanation and the interpretation comes from a low place. And yes, for them it's true. But for those of us who have transcended and are going through the fire, now the truth has changed. And that's how it works. Truth does change. Because what is evil turns into good. And now we can see that we can look at repetitive symbols, repetitive patterns to actually give us hope. To go, okay, Dorothy did it. Harry Potter did it. Jesus did it. Horace did it. And all these people were able to achieve using their mind to touch a technology that was always available to us. She said, oh, my dear, you always had the ability to go back to Kansas. I would have said, like, what the F? Are you kidding me? I was prancing around in a blue checkered dress. Those boys dancing around on the yellow brick road with my dog. And my parents. I didn't have parents, so I didn't know any better. Nobody just came and told me what I had to do. I had to do it all by myself. And I always had a wicked witch after me, yapping. And if we are in the lion and we shame and blame it, then we haven't come to a knowledge, and that knowledge is that we had to do it alone. We had to figure this out, and we had to learn to use our mind, not for mundane physical purposes in the physical, but we had to be able to merge our energy, our frequency, and upgrade our DNA and upgrade our thought bank and our belief systems really into a divine realm, a divine plane. And then the truths that you get there, it's work, I will admit. You have to imagine sacred geometry, you've got to study, you've got to speak the voice of spirit, you've got to clean, you've got to do the work, and it's work. It's like a Jedi master. Every day you're doing yoga or you're doing Tai Chi, and you're stepping into your gift and you're perfecting that gift every single day. It reminds me of Dr. Strange. Dr. Strange was a highly intelligent fellow. He was a brain surgeon. But the Ancient One doesn't care about your knowledge on earth or how smart you are or how many years you went to school or college or whatever. The Ancient One looks at how well you have the ability to see the unseen. And she told him, he said, could you please teach me? And she said, no. She kicked him out. And he laid there at the base of her door, refusing to leave, saying, I will surrender all that I am to know how to not get trapped in the abyss and to learn how to use my spirit with my flesh. I will surrender all that I know, and I'm ready to empty my cup and believe in the unbelievable. And then and only then, she allowed him to come in, and she said, you have to do what I say. And this is how your higher self works. You have to listen to me. Believe in the unbelievable. Believe in the unseen. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge the Holy Spirit. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Have fun. Have the heart of a child. But don't give up. Don't look back. And our allegiance is not to this world or the people in it. Not even our family and friends. Our allegiance is to our immortality. And believe me, your higher self will give you friends and family, spirit friends and family, once you begin to walk that exact path and get on the appropriate train of ascension. And when you're not polarized, everything is in your favor. When you're in District 12, nothing is in your favor. So I hope this helps you. I hope it inspires you. And I want to encourage you to continue to look at the symbology. Continue to let it speak to you, and don't let this be the end. Study. What does the goose mean? What does the bird of paradise mean in your piece? The star is a table. Is it Sirius B, the dog star? What does it mean that we are going through a shift of a reversal of time, where the fist is seemingly to bring back the days of Egypt in this time machine planet we live on? Right? So there's a lot of secrets going on, and the secrets are fantastic. I love it. I hope you love it. If you would like a reading, go to forestfairy.com. You have to text me, and we schedule your live reading on TikTok. And just be aware that this is not like a tarot reading. It's a long process. And the purpose of it is for me, and it's for you, and for all of us to awaken. like little munchkins in Munchkin Land with flowers on our head, the eternal spring, the golden age of Aquarius.
You are listening to Forest Fairy Oracle with Mary Moses.
This part 1 video is going to be a meditation from Isis to all of you to step into and claim your divine inheritance. Deep breath. Imagine you are on another planet and you're splashing in a beautiful spring, speaking an unknown language with water. This water activates your energetic body. And magnetizes the electrons within your biofield. You feel powerful, happy. You feel like a child. Isis is the name of 1,000 names. Isis and Osiris had a son named Horus. Isis wants you to know that it's time to claim your divine inheritance and to believe in magic and that spirit and technology work together Isis and Osiris had a son named Horus. He was born in a cave. He was heralded by a star attended by shepherds. He was baptized in a river. His baptizer was beheaded. Horus had 12 disciples, performed miracles, exorcised demons, and even raised someone from the dead. He walked on water. They called him Yusa, the ever-becoming Son or the Holy Child. He delivered a Sermon on the Mount. He was buried for 3 days in a tomb and rose from the dead. His followers called him the Way, the Truth, and the Light, or Messiah. Word made flesh, Word of Truth, the Christ, and the Anointed One. Isis is here to tell you that the Earth is flipping its magnetic polarity. Its inner core is reversing. This technology is like a time machine. The coming and the return of Christ is the birthing of Horus within our individual and collective consciousness. You are a water and stone goddess. Your gifts and abilities are being activated now, not just because you've grown spiritually, but because there is a reversal and a magnetic shift that is affecting us all. Saturn is the return of Christ. Connect with water and allow these living waters that pour from your heart to activate your entire body, from the bottom of your feet to the top of your halo technology.